Hello and welcome to INSZoom training webinar. This is Arun. I'm part of the customer success group at INSZoom. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the questionnaire and how to use the to-do module. The webinar is purely focused on training. So I know you would have a lot of questions, as in when we go through each features. Unfortunately, you're all on mute because we're looking at 100 plus attendees today. It will be really difficult to, have all of you on mute and answer questions. However, I just want to let you all know that on to the right, you would find a section to add your questions. Either it would be called a chat where you can add your questions, or it would be the question as it is. So you can go ahead and type in your questions. So you don't have to wait till the end of the training. As in when we're going through each features in INSZoom, you can ask questions, and you can, either if we can answer some of the questions during the session, or I would give some time towards the end of the training session to go through some of the questions. Now, in case I'm not able to answer all your questions, I would email you all with a response, for the questions that you asked for. Now, apart from the training webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to have some poll questions just to make sure you're attentive, and know you will be, but in case, just to check your knowledge or test yourself, we would have some poll questions during the webinar. If you have attended our previous webinar, you might have seen during the webinar the poll questions pop up and you need to choose an answer. If this is your first time and you have never done it, I want to just give it out a try for you all to see how it works. So even if you did this before, I want you to give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead and activate an example of a poll question for you all to try. All right. So there you go. The question is out there. You can choose an answer. So what is the strangest thing you did while attending a meeting online? Did I tell you guys that your name would be listed along with the response? Wow, the answers went so slow then. No, I'm just joking. So no one's name would be listed when you're answering the questions. So don't worry, you can answer the poll questions. Where even if you're wrong, your name will not be listed, but I would let you know what's the answer. Of course, for this one, there's no answer. But then, yeah, we would give like 40 to 50 seconds for you all to answer. This is a good participation. This means most of you know how to use the poll. So almost 70% of you have answered the question, which is really good. Again, there's no right answer, but I can see that majority of you ate breakfast and some of you watch Netflix. Very good. So I'm going to stop this right now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and have you view my screen right now. Okay, so this is the INSZoom page. Just give me a minute while I set this up for you. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, which is the questionnaires. So you can, customize the INSZoom questionnaires the way you want to keep it, or you can use it out of the box, what we currently provide to you all. So choice is yours. But again, some of you who have joined today might not be using the questionnaires for various reasons. So I want to just emphasize the importance of using those questionnaires, how important it is during, not only during the situation, but generally to capture the key important information and have those saved in INSZoom. Most of the time, most of the users don't realize there's a huge difference with the data saved inside a PDF form versus in actual INSZoom database itself. Now, both are saved in the database, but however, having a data captured through the questionnaire would save in the database. So in the future, when you're doing an extension or any cases that you're processing for the same foreign national, you don't have to ask that same question, or you don't have to retype the information unless you have to change that and update something different. And of course, you would do that. Again, some of you might have tried these questions and it really didn't work out the way you wanted. one and few reasons that I can recall after talking to a few of the clients is that we're so used to the way how the form is. I know exactly where the questions are in the form. I can close my eyes and I know which page I would find the date of birth that I need to update. So yes, that's true. Our questionnaires are not exact replica of the form. It has all the questions that's required for the form, but of course it's not exact replica. But the advantage that you have using our questionnaire is that you can customize it. You can rename the questions the way you want to keep it. You can have the questions in different languages, which you can utilize by using our Google Translator, or you can even have the questionnaire in different language itself, along with what we currently have. Now, some customers or clients have told me that, hey, there are too many questions. I don't think my clients can handle this, or they might not do business with me because I'm paying. I mean, this is what their customers say. I'm paying you, so you should be doing all of this, which is true in one way or the other. But of course, you still need to collect the information from the client. So if you don't want to use the questionnaire as it is, you can minimize the number of questions you're going to ask the client. You can actually have just a random questionnaire with a maximum 15, 16 questions at least to store that data in the INSZoom, for national profile or the database, so that in the future it'll be easy for you to track. And why I'm saying this, because recently I spoke to one of the client who wants to do extension for DACA, and what she did was she used just the forms as it is. Now, I'm sure some of you might not know what are the forms for DACA, but even if you know, it's the same forms that you file again. And most probably it's the same information because you are still tracking the last 5 years of the residence and education or the employment history. So imagine you have to do all over again the same thing which you did 3 years back. Instead, if you use the questionnaire, the data still remains over there, and all you have to do is just update the recent information that need to be tracked on the form. So again, we can go on with this, and I don't want to take much time explaining more in detail. But then, if you find any reason why you don't want to use it, or if you find there's a challenge, you're always welcome to call us. You can reach out to our support line, or you can reach out to me. You can email my group, which is CSM. That's Charlie Sam Mike at INSZoom.com, and we'll be more than happy to schedule a call and hear out your concerns and suggest something or recommend something to help you use our questionnaires. All right, with no further delay, jumping into the INSZoom database, which is we're going to go to the setup and knowledge base. Now, the first question that comes up is who have access to this? So most of the people who joined today for the webinar might not have access to the knowledge base. The reason is that because it's part of the access rights. Now, here's a big confusion that comes up in the law firm. Hey, do I need to be an admin to do this work? The answer is no. You don't have to be an admin in order to customize knowledge base. So if I go to my profile in INSZoom, and then click on access rights onto the left, you would notice that the admin or super user access is right on top. Whether I have a yes or a no, I can still get a view and update access to the knowledge base. So right now, as in default, you will have view access, which means you can view everything in the knowledge base. But in order for you to customize, you need to have the update access. So right now for me, I have both, which means I can view and update. So if I go to the setup, click on knowledge base, you would see that I get all those icons, which is edit, trash icon to delete it, and whatever that's required to customize or change. The other thing that you need to keep in mind when it comes to the questionnaire is that if you're a team of 5 or 6 or more, I would recommend that you choose specific individual to do certain tasks in terms of knowledge-based customization and not give access to everyone. Why I'm saying this is because whatever changes you make or whatever changes you apply to the questionnaires over here, it would apply to the cases that you're working or the questionnaire that you sent out to your client when they're completing it. So it's best that you have a dedicated resource who would be handling this, just like how you have for an IT. If you have a dedicated IT team, there's this one guy who's going to fix all the problems for you. And there's this one guy that you would reach out if you don't know what to do with your computer if it's not switching on. So the same thing when it comes to knowledge base, you can have a dedicated 1 or 2 resources who would be the one who would visit the knowledge base, tweak the process that's currently set up, make the changes the way you want it based on the current climate, and then have that person take the ownership so that you whatever changes have been applied, you know who changed it and why the changes were made. All right, So I'm in the enterprise edition. That's one of our editions in INSZoom. In enterprise edition, obviously you have the access to switch between different countries if you subscribe for countries. So currently I set up on United States. So whatever I see is all related to United States. If we do have anyone join today who do Canadian cases, you would see Canada, unlike what you see in my screen. But we can switch here and there. We can talk a little bit about it, but the process still remains the same, how you would tweak the questionnaire. All right, so let's go directly to the questionnaire library. So after I click on setup, click on knowledge base, the landing page is the petition template. So this is not where you would customize the questionnaire. This is where you would work on the case package, or what I call the matter package, or the application package. But the questionnaire customization would be on to the left under number 2. You have questionnaire template. So you have the questionnaire template over there and copy merge. So let's look at the questionnaire template to start with. So this is the template where you have your own library, and then we have the INSZoom library as well. So wherever you see a questionnaire with Zoom beside it, it means it's our library, and that's the most up-to-date questionnaire. Can you do anything with our questionnaire? No. If you notice, all that you can do is copy it, which means you're copying from our library to yours. Or you can preview it to see how it looks like. That's all we're letting you do. I'm just kidding. You can use it for cases as well. But then if you want to tweak our questionnaire, you can copy it to your library and then you can customize it. So you see this one, the number 1 on top, it doesn't say Zoom. So this is in my library, which means I can click on it and I can customize the questionnaire. So that's the key important thing that you need to remember: Zoom library versus your library. Now, I'm going to go back again, emphasize a few things related to the Zoom and the firm library. So again, over here, how can you navigate through this page? Something that's important to keep in mind is when you go to the right, okay, first of all, let me just minimize all this. Okay, let me get rid of the banner. Okay, so we have more screen space. Let me collapse the left menu. Okay, perfect, very good. So if you look onto the right section, you will see the last updated date and time. So our library questionnaire was last updated on October 13, 2018 for this questionnaire, which I think has never changed till date. And the last time it was updated in my library was May 8, 2020, because this is my new INSZoom account, which means I have the latest questionnaire. So when you look at your library, you have to do that comparison. The reason is because whenever we update our questionnaire, it would be under the Zoom library itself. We will not touch your questionnaire, because if we touch your questionnaire, whatever you customize would just disappear. So it's always important that you do the comparison to check if you got the latest questionnaire. Now, how would the questionnaire change? One reason is obviously because if the forms are updated by USCIS or any government agency for that matter, we would update our questionnaire as well. So it's important that you go back to your old questionnaire, either replace it with a new one or tweak it to make sure you have all the updated fields in it. So that's the most important thing which you need to track in the library. All right, so I'm going to stop here, do a quick poll question to confirm, because I spoke a lot and I want to make sure you guys were attentive. So let's pick up a next one. So guys, here's the next poll question for you. What is Zoom questionnaire? So take your time to answer the questions. All right, it's going to give you another 10 seconds. I like it. Someone actually chose a fancy name. Could be, you never know. Come on, you all can give it a try. There's no right or wrong answer. Of course, there is a right answer, but then of course, you can evaluate yourself if you understood. Perfect. So we're going to stop over here. So the answer is, of course, the Zoom library is the INSZoom updated questionnaire library. Can you customize questionnaire in Zoom library? The answer is no. So who answered that? Please remember, you cannot customize. So if you see, I'm trying to click on it where it says Zoom for any question, I can't click on it. I can't do anything. All I can do is preview it, or I can copy it to my library. After I copy it to my library, then I can customize it. So here's an example of my library because it does not say Zoom. So when I click on it, it will accept the click to customize it. So it's very important you understand that you cannot customize a Zoom question as it is from the Zoom library. Very good. Moving on. So again, just keeping in mind the Zoom questionnaires and the form questionnaire, there is a way to customize it. How you would do that is, let me just go back. You can either customize an individual questionnaire. So let's take an example today. Let's talk about H1B case. I know some of you might be doing family-based case, so I will switch between each scenario so that we all are understanding what's going on. So let's talk about an initial H1B where you have a G28, the I-129, then you have the H classification and the data collection forms to be completed. And then you want to customize each and every questionnaire. I would recommend not to, but then of course you can do that if you prefer to. So all I need to do is that from the Zoom questionnaire library, I can search. And let's say if I want to search for a G28, just type in G-28, click on find, and then I can find the G28 questionnaire. So let's say I want to customize the employee question because there's certain questions I don't want the employee to answer because he wouldn't know or she wouldn't know what to answer, or I prefer to answer on behalf of them, or the corporate client would know what to answer. So you decide to remove some questionnaire. You can actually click on the questionnaire, get inside the questionnaire by clicking on subsections. And once you're in the subsection, you will get to see different fields. What you see over here are the headers for each questionnaire. Just the way how you have on forms, before you have the fields to update, there is a header on top. Okay, this is what you're updating about. Give us more information about your residence. Give the last employment history as a header. So all these are headers. So you can tweak the headers. You can change the way you want to keep it. You can rename the header the way you want it. So you have that option. You can click on fields and then of course rename the field. So what you see over here is an entire list of fields specifically designed for this subsection. So all you have to remember is that whatever's checked is what is required for the form. So don't go ahead and just check everything, okay? So unless you want to collect those information. But whatever is checked are the only information that's required. So over here, only alien numbers required. So if you don't like the alien number to be displayed like this, you can just go ahead and change that. Just if you just want an A number, just remove the whole thing, just keep the A number. How you prefer to keep it. And then before we started, I did mention that you can have the questionnaire in different languages. One of the options is to use a Google Translator. The other one is to have the questionnaire customized in different language. So what I usually recommend our clients is that keep the one in English as it is, put a /, and then type in any other language. As long as your keyboard supports all the different languages you want to update, you can do that. So now if you want to type in Chinese, you can do that, or you want to type in Spanish, you can do that, and keep the questionnaire to field both in English and Spanish. Or if you want just Spanish, you can do it that way as well. So you do have that option. Now on the right, you will see the tooltip description. So don't get confused over here. So this is something for more like a explanation of what exactly that field is for. So you can actually change that if you want to. But most important is the system label. Now this field where I've updated the alien number, it is created for alien number, which means if you go ahead and ask for date of birth, it is going to add the customer's date of birth, but of course it's in a wrong field. So when you customize a questionnaire, just make sure that you are using the right label which is designated for. So don't change it. Like I remember one of the clients where the label was first name. She went ahead and changed it to the first and last name to reduce the number of fields, but that's wrong. So in that field, now you have the first and last name of the client. However, in the INSZoom database, that client just got the first name. So it's important to keep track of the system label when you tweak anything. I'm not going to save this, so I'm not going to change that. On the right is the mandatory, so you can, keep it a yes, which means they have to answer the question. There's no escape from it. If you keep it a no, then they can skip it. It's a choice. Then comes the read only. This is one of my favorite because every month, almost every month, not every month, I'm exaggerating, but there's always some cases that come up with support where clients like, hey, I can't find my client in INSZoom database. I just send him a questionnaire, and then he said he completed, but he just disappeared from INSZoom. And 99% of the time, that guy went ahead and changed his name. So now you can't find him. Yeah. So, like for example, my name, according to U.S. immigration, is FNU Arun. So obviously, I would change my name if you're doing an extension for me. So this guy, or so most cases, there could be clients who have a different first name and last name compared to what they usually call, or how it is listed in the employment. So if you don't want them to change their name, which has been a concern, then just go ahead and put read only, which means they can view it, but they can't edit it. For that matter, any fields, if you want to keep it just read only, you can do that as well, which is nothing but you're letting the employee know that, hey, this is something we would update, which you can mention in the email message so they don't get confused. Or you can even put a header for each of the subsection. So that's the most important thing which I want to take you through is the not exactly a header, I would call it more of instruction. So for each subsection that you see over here, you will find notes beside those. So these are nothing but instruction that you're listing out for the clients to view before they update. Again, these are really important, okay, because some of the instruction that we have kept over there is the exact same instruction from the USCIS form. So if your clients were that smart, including me for that matter, we don't have to hire an attorney to complete the forms. We can do it by ourselves. So obviously, no, those instructions are not clear for us, which means you can go there and change it to make it much more clear. So you do have that option. So for every subsection, you can change the instruction, update the way you want it. So that's what they get to see before they start completing the fields. Okay, you can resequence the order. That's a pretty cool function. If you like to keep it in different pages, you can do that. But if you want to resequence the order, you can. You want the mailing address to be number 2, alien number be number 3, you can do that. So you have the option to resequence, which is a pretty cool function. But will it match exactly like the form? The answer is no. But I just want you to know that you can resequence the order. Now, what if you want to add more fields? So this is one of the other reasons why some of the clients decided not to use the questionnaire, because some of you would need more questions to be answered, by the client and not just what is required for the form. So for that reason, we do provide that option. Okay, so you see an option on top where it says add more subsections. So your clients can click on that. I mean, you can click on that and then of course add more subsections so your clients can answer those questions. So you can search for a subsection over here, or you can just scroll down, look up for what you're looking for and add that to the list. The easiest way to do this is obviously these subsection name are given by INSZoom, so we would give it the way we want it and you wouldn't even know what that name is. But the easiest way to search is to search for a field. Obviously, how much different can a field name be? So I want to add, let's say I-94 details. So if I search for I-94, if there's any subsection that captures I-94, it will show up. So what I searched for was not a subsection. I searched for a field. This means that all the fields which shows up over here will have, all the subsection which shows up over here will have a field which asks for I-94. So again, keep in mind, as in default, it is name of the subsection, not the best way to search. So you can click on drop down, search for field. Now, some of you joined this webinar have been using INSZoom for several years. Maybe some of you have been 10 plus years. Now you can use name of the subsection, like I can do for a certain extent. I don't know if you guys spoken to one of our senior resource like Lokesh, he would know by closing his eyes where it is. So if you're already used to it, perfect, but if you're new to this, I recommend to use the subsection containing fields. So again, once you find what you're looking for, obviously what you need to do is just click on choose fields and it will list out all the fields from that subsection. Just clear all, don't have it all checked, and then choose what you want. So I need the I-94, I need the status of it, date of arrival. So these are the important things for me. So I choose what all I need, click on save, and then I check this one and save it, or save and close. Save means I want to add more subsection. Save and close means I'm done with my work adding and I want to see how it looks like after adding. So you see that that's the new subsection that got added to the list, and obviously it will have the fields that I've checked. So that's how you would add more subsections. So if you want to capture more information, you can do that. And And I want you to explore that as well. Maybe you have done this long back and we didn't have most of the fields, but over the course of time, we have added much more fields. And an example would be if you're doing an L1A or L1B case, and if you want to track the specialized knowledge, you might have a Word document where you're collecting that information. And you might be thinking it's not there in INSZoom. The reason is because the forms don't ask for it, but we do have it in the question because we know that's an important thing to capture. So if I click on add more subsection, and then this time I'm going to just search for the subsection name because I know what it is. So if I search for special or specialized knowledge, maybe I should do knowledge. Yeah, there you go. So you have a specialized knowledge subsection over here. You can click on choose fields and you can see most of these questions are what you ask your client. So you can add this to the the L1A or B petition, part of the I-129L questionnaire that you're tracking. So you can have this listed over there, so the client itself can update it through the questionnaire. So you do have that option. So do some check, see what you find. If you don't find what you're looking for, especially if that question is there on the form, but you don't find it in the questionnaire, we should have it. Otherwise, we should have a good reason why we don't have it. So just reach out to our support or reach out to me for that matter, csm@INSZoom.com. So I'll check with the forms team or product team on why it's not there. But most important thing to keep in mind, when you don't find something, 99% of the time you're using an outdated questionnaire. So remember what we went through in the beginning. When you go to the questionnaire template, do the comparison, do the Zoom library questionnaire and your questionnaire and review the last updated date. All right, so if you're using an old one, 99% of the time, that's a reason you're not finding the most up-to-date field in your questionnaire. All right, so that's how you would customize the questionnaire. So if you have to create your own questionnaire, you can do that. So for that, again, you should be under the questionnaire template itself, and you have the option add client questionnaire. So if you want to do something from the beginning, you want to create your own questions with fields, so you can click on add client questionnaire, and you can do that. Now you'll be thinking, why would you do that? So apart from working on cases, you can use questionnaire for various other reasons. Yeah, this is true, you can use. So number one is when you have prospects completing an intake sheet, instead of having a Word document or filling up a form, you can actually use an INSZoom questionnaire as an intake sheet for them to fill. So you can hook up this questionnaire to your website as well. So if the client wants to review and update, the prospect who wants to give you general information before booking a consultation, they can do that as well. So you can create your own questionnaire for that. Now, the other reason that I can think of is there are few firms who do this, which is they create their own questionnaire to replace the profile page of the foreign national. How cool is that? So what I'm referring to is, let me just maximize this. I'm still getting used to these left menus. So let's go to recent records, Jason Bond. All right, so this is an example of a foreign national profile in INSZoom. Pretty fancy. You can customize this view. You can add more fields if you would like to. But what if you don't like it that way? What if you just want to have 15 questions show up and that's what you want your team to update and make sure they're up to date, because that's the key important. So if you look over here, what I did was onto the left, there's profile. I clicked on customize and you'll see an option on top where it says attach profile questionnaire. So there you go. So you can create a questionnaire and attach it to the profile of a foreign national, which means every time you visit any of the profile of a foreign national, that questionnaire will show up and you can edit and update it instead of going to the left menu to look up for the work location or to look up for the personal info section to update their foreign address, work address, residence address, mailing address, everything that's required. So why not have one questionnaire and one page of the profile, give you the option to update everything that you need, so you do have that. Again, if you create a questionnaire for prospects, it's again on the left menu, you have the prospect section. You can go ahead and attach the questionnaire to the prospect as well, which is a pretty cool function. Just keep in mind, whatever you track when your clients are on the prospect stage, as long as they're lead, and then when you convert them as an actual client, everything that you captured would be saved in INSZoom database even when they are in the client level. So all the investment that you put in, tracking notes, updating the details, updating the relatives info, everything through questionnaire or anything that you can use from the prospect section would save to client. You don't have to redo it again. So a questionnaire is a good idea that you can link to the individual section. Again, you can have this link to your website. So if you see over here, I clicked on individual under the prospect, and then when I scroll down, you can generate a link for your website. It's a pretty cool function. Once you attach the question, which you see over here, attach an intake sheet. When any of the prospects, or even me for that matter, visit your website and click on contact us, and then gives me a questionnaire with 5-6 questions I need to answer. How cool is that? Just answer those questions, and when I submit, you get an alert that a prospect has created a profile in INSZoom, and then you can go visit, call them up, or set up a consultation date, and that's it. It's perfect. You can have this also done if prospects visit your office eventually when we are back to office. You can do that as well. When they visit your office and it's for first time, you can ask them to, why don't you go to our website, click on the link to complete the questions, and then we'll set up a consultation. So you do have those options as well. I know that most of us are remotely working, and most of your prospects would be checking through the website right now because offices are closed. So it's best to have this in your website as an option, part of your marketing strategy. It'll be really good. All right, going back to the questionnaires again. So we were talking about customizing each individual questionnaires. I haven't done that a lot, but what I've done the most while helping our clients is merge all the questionnaires required for a case and then customize those. So what I'm talking about is, for example, if I'm doing let's say adjustment of status or an I-130 and I-485 for spouse of US citizen, I would merge all the questionnaires, which is G28, I-130, I-130A, I-485, I-765, I-864. Just imagine that's like 6 to 7 questionnaires. Imagine you're customizing each one by one. That's going to take forever. So it's best to merge all the questionnaires into one, and then you can customize. Now, don't worry, there will be no duplicate fields. Okay, so all these 6 or 7 questionnaire will ask for customer's name, but it's going to ask only once when you merge them all together. So if you prefer that way, which I do, you do have that option. All that you need to do is, once you go to set up knowledge base, on the left under the questionnaire template number 2, we were on the first one. If you look at the second one, you'll find copy merge questionnaire. So you can go to copy merge questionnaire, merge the questionnaires into one, and then do the customization you're looking for. But most important thing before we start, right? And this goes for especially case managers who are using a Word document or a kind of a Word document to collect information from your client. Now, in INSZoom, when you are sending questionnaires, keep in mind you will have a separate questionnaire for sponsor and a separate questionnaire for beneficiary. I guess that's important. Keep in mind, you cannot merge both of them together because in INSZoom, it's 2 different profile. So sponsor has a different profile, beneficiary has a different profile, which means you need to separate the questionnaires as well. So that's the key important thing I want you to remember before you start merging. So let's take that. Since I spoke about the H-1B before, now let's do an example of a family-based. Let's say we're talking about the I-130 and I-485 spouse of U.S. citizen. So I want to merge questionnaire for beneficiary. Okay, so again, keep in mind, separate questionnaire for sponsor, separate one for beneficiary. So let's say if I want to do a merge questionnaire for beneficiary, so I can start with the G28 if I have to, and continue from there. So let's say I do a G28, for example. You will see questionnaire from my library and Zoom library. So you have a choice which one to select. Obviously, I want the most up-to-date questionnaire. So I would choose from the Zoom library. So this is how you would do one by one, select all the questionnaires you need. So I need an I-130. So here's a big good example that I want to share with you. Now I-130, there's only one form, but keep in mind, it requires information from both sponsor and beneficiary. For that matter, when you look at this I-130 under the Zoom library, you will have one for petitioner, which is the sponsor, and the other one for beneficiary. Now I'm merging this questionnaire for the beneficiary, so I'm going to choose the beneficiary one to continue with the merge. So continue with the next one. So add everything that you need. Search for it either outside, inside. The choice is yours, and then you can merge all the questionnaires together. So this is how you will be doing. I'm going to stop here, but I want to let you know that if there's more than 3, all you have to do just click on add. It gives you option to add more questionnaires that you want to merge. Now, when you merge questionnaire, please keep in mind it does not go to Zoom library because we didn't merge it, you merged it. So it will fall into your library. All right, so it will not show Zoom beside it. So it will show, without Zoom, with whatever name that you give. Now, when you give a name for this questionnaire, preferably give a name which is more like case specific name. So it's easy for you to check or track. So that's important as well, because you need to know what are the questions that you have merged or customized. So you know that when a form changes, that's a question you need to pick to recustomize to bring in those fields which is required for the new form, or maybe delete it and start all over from the beginning if you have to. So this is how you would merge the questionnaires as well. Again, it's very simple. If you're merging any questionnaires, you can go ahead and delete them if you want to from your data, your library. Of course, you can't delete from the Zoom library, so I picked the ones from Zoom library. If you made any mistakes, just click on clear and start all over. You can do that. That's perfectly fine. Again, my recommendation when it comes to questionnaires that after you merge all the questionnaires, review it and see that's exactly how you want your client to see it before you go ahead and email it out to your clients, or attach it to your prospect section or the profile page of a foreign national, or have it show up in the portal. So you have those options. All right, guys, so I'm going to take a break now by launching a poll question for you all. Let's see what we have here. So the next one is, wow, did I have these questions answered? Sorry. Oh, there you go. All right. So there's your next question, guys. Is it possible to customize a Zoom questionnaire? You might think this question was already answered. Might be, but I'll let you answer this question. So I'll give you all 30 seconds. Take your time. It's a little tricky. I just want to give you a hint that it is a little tricky. All right. So the options we have, yes, in Zoom questionnaire library. The answer is no. That's not. Option 1 is wrong. And you have to reach out to support team. Nope, even they can't customize the Zoom library. Yes, merge the question and then customize. That's the answer. Yes. And someone said need to have superpower, special power. The answer is no, guys. You don't need to have special power. You still can't change it. So there is a way to customize a Zoom questionnaire. What I'm trying to say from this question, or what I want you to realize, is that once you merge these questionnaires, it is going to be in your library. So if I pick these two, for example, a standalone I-130, which is just a G20 and I-130, let's say I rename it as a family-based questionnaire, save it. Now keep in mind, I picked a G20 and an I-130 from Zoom library. The moment I merge it, it would be in my library. So now I can open that questionnaire and customize the way I want it. So I purposely asked this question to make sure that you are familiar with that. So anytime you want to customize a questionnaire from Zoom library and you want to do that after merging, you can do that. So you don't have to copy from Zoom library, put it into your firm library, and then merge it. That's not necessary at all. So you can go ahead and merge it, and then you can go ahead and customize. So you will have that option. Let me see if I can find that questionnaire. Yep, there you go, family-based questionnaire. It doesn't say Zoom next to it, which means I can click on it and I can customize it. So I can click on subsections and customize whatever I need to. Wow, that's just 2 questionnaire with so many questions. Perfect. Now, now you know how to customize the fields by clicking on the subsection and clicking on fields. You know how to add instruction to subsection by clicking on notes. You know that you can remove any of the fields that you don't want to ask because your customers would not know what to answer. But you also know that you can put it as read only so that you don't want to remove it, so your case workers can update it on behalf of the client. So you do have that option. You also know that you can resequence the order the way you want to keep it. You can also even change the name for these subsections and keep it the way you want to keep it. Now, you also know that you can add more subsections. That's what you learned today as well, apart from what is subsection, which is there, which is what is required for the form. But you want to collect more information apart from what is required for the form. You can do that by adding more subsections. Now comes the part where what if you want to ask a question which is not asked in the form and you can't find that field in INSZoom database. So that is the last resort which you go with, is the custom fields. All right. Now I want you all to be very careful with the custom fields, and this is something we're educating all our clients right now, that if you decide to add a custom field, we want you to let us know that you can't find something and you're doing that, because in some cases it could be there somewhere in the database and you didn't see it, because our database is really big with information captured in multiple places. So at any point of time, if you can't find the information that you're looking for and you want to go ahead and add a custom field, just let us know. In most cases, our team would ask you more business related questions, because if that field is required for the INSZoom database and it could benefit other customers, we would just go ahead and add it rather than you using a custom field. So I just want to throw that out for you all, and let you know that we can do that. But in case it's not there and it's very unique to your needs or your client needs and you want to add that, then of course you can go ahead and add a custom field. Now, before you add a custom field to the questionnaire, your first step is to create a custom field. And how you do that is on the left under other templates. In the knowledge base itself, you will find custom fields. Guys, I don't think we have enough time to show you how to do this, but this is quite simple actually. If you look at it, all you have to do is just create a custom field, specify what kind of field it is. Do you want it to be a multi-line text custom field where you want to give more than 2,000 characters to update? Do you want to make it a short line text, or do you want to have a multiple choice questions given to the user to update it? So you can do that. But the most important thing to keep in mind is, where exactly do you want this custom field to show up? So I'm using an enterprise edition. So in enterprises, you have multiple options, which is really cool. You can have custom field either in corporation, client, or a case. You can also have a custom field specific to a petition type, which is pretty cool, because let's say if you're creating a custom field and it's specific to a perm case, then you can create that as well. So you can do that in enterprise. And professional, there's few limitations. I believe it's just corporation and client that you can create custom fields, but you can still do that. So once you create a custom field over here, then you go ahead, get inside a questionnaire that you're working on. And what you need to do is a little different, because now you're not adding a subsection. Okay, subsections are the fields or the subsection INSZoom have created for you. So I'm going to just quickly show you what you would do. Is I click on, let's say I'm going to search that same family-based questionnaire. So we never spoke much about this place. This is the section place. Usually would always click on subsections to find. So this is where you would add a section for custom field. So you click on add remove section, and then you get the option to add custom field as one of the section. It's one of the options over here. Yeah, there you go. So you add the section, and then you would have the option to choose any of the custom fields you've created to show up in the questionnaire. One of the challenges that these custom fields would either show up right at the bottom, you have the option to do that, or it's going to show up right on top. So you can't put it somewhere in between. But I just want to let you know that we have work in progress in terms of making smart questionnaires where you would be able to eventually place it wherever you like to, but it's still in work in progress. Until then, just keep in mind, most of our clients just put it right at the bottom, because it will look weird if you put it right on top, because you don't want your specific questions to show up and after a few questions it's asking what is your name. So right at the bottom would be perfect for it. All right, so now you know that you can even add custom fields to it. So again, when you do a prospective client collection of data, and if that's something you want to ask questions which you don't have in the database, because there would be more additional questions you would ask to evaluate the kind of case that you want to start with a prospect, you can create custom fields for that and add it to the questionnaire. And again, for case specific as well, you can do that as well. So you do have that option. Now, once you have these questionnaires ready, your next step is to obviously go ahead and link that to the petition. So don't leave it over there. So just keep in mind your first step is to go to the questionnaire template library. That's where we started. Then we checked the copy merge, which is we merged all the questionnaires. Then our step 3 is go back to the questionnaire template where we started. Click on the questionnaire to customize it. If you prefer to customize after merging, that's what you would do. And then once your questionnaire is ready, you go back to petition template. So when you go into petition template, it will list out all the petition from your library again. And this is where you need to link the questionnaire. So you can search for, let's say, case. So I want to link this to an I-130 case type. So I search for I-130 under petition template name. It will show me all the standalone I-130s and the I-485 together. So this one I did for the spousal legal permanent residence. I can click on that. And then go to the left menu, click on questionnaires, and this is where I would link the question. So you see the reason why I told you why you would need to have a separate questionnaire for sponsor and a separate one for beneficiary, because that's how we list it over here as well. So what you see on top is the questionnaire that you would link for sponsor. What you see below is the questionnaire that you would link for the beneficiary after you merge and customize the questionnaire. All right, now this is a lot of things you have to do. So I want to give you a few breather by a few things to, easy breather, because we can help you in most of the cases. Most of you who joined for this call, or maybe some of you, we have initially helped you with customizing the questionnaire. We have trained you as well to a certain extent. Now, if it is outdated and you never went back and you don't know what to do, or if you're new to this and you can't figure this out and you really need some more training, really need someone to help you out with this, we can do that for you. So we do provide something called Zoom Expert Service. So we collect your requirement, we'll customize, and we'll set it up for you and train you as well. So if you want to know more about the Zoom Expert Service, you can email to csm@INSZoom.com, and we can share the details with you. You will have a dedicated resource to do this. Unlike me, who's just going to talk like this and end it, this resource would train you and customize for you, which will be really cool. So yeah, that's about the questionnaires. Once you link it up to the petition, you can use it for the cases. Now, I want to spend the last few minutes to talk about ToDo, which is one of the functions we have introduced. And I find it really cool feature, because this is something we use more often right now with the current crisis, working from home remotely, that we need more of to-dos or task function to remind us what we need to do, so that we don't miss our deadlines or miss those key important things that we need to capture. And it should be easy to track as well. So if some of you who have joined, who've been INSZoom for less than 12 months and never thought about this and need some inputs on this, you should catch up with Ed from our sales team. He's a sales manager. He's one of the coolest guy who use task function like I've never seen anyone do it. So he can give you some tips on it, how to handle it and how to use this function as well. So if you see over here in INSZoom, you have the to-do function on to the left. So you can click over there. It opens up a page for you to either review your current to-dos, anything that you need to do. So I have one task to do today, which is so cool, but in your case, it could be multiple. So you can add more to-dos for yourself by clicking on new to-do on the right, or you can review everyone's to-do. So right now over here, guys, this is a new org I created for myself. So obviously you won't be able to see anything apart from mine. But then in your case, if you have 10 plus users using To-Do, you can actually view what others' tasks are pending. At the same time, it's not just for internal purpose, it's for clients as well. So you can actually assign To-Do for your clients. How cool is that? So when I click on To-Do, it will tell you if it's related to a case, you choose a client and case. If it's just related to a client, just choose a client. If it's related to corporation, just choose a corporation. So you have that option. So if I do choose for a client, so let's say if I search for Jason, it gives me an option to select. If there are 4 or 5 cases, it will pop up. So you can choose whatever case you want to select for the task you want to assign. And then what you want to do over here. Do you want Jason to complete his questionnaires and upload the document? You can select that. You can have forms or letters sent out to him. You can send out an invoice reminding him, hey, you got to make your payments. Or you can assign a task saying that, hey, Jason, the passport copy you sent was terrible. You need to scan a good copy and send it to you. So you can do that as well. So you have these options over here. So let's say if I want to add a quick task. So if you see again over here, when I click on quick task, it still gives me an option who I need to assign this. So Jason is the actual client, and that's me after him, who is a case manager. So all your case managers would be listed here as well. So if you want to assign a task to one of your coworkers, you can do that through ToDo. So again, don't worry, when you assign a to-do, they will get an email, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, how will they get alerted? So they will get an email saying that, hey, this task has been assigned to you, so you got to go figure it out what to need to do. And then, of course, they have to mark the step as completed, or not step, sorry, the task as completed. So then it will show in your view and in their view that they've completed so and so to-dos. Now, how would you start your day if you're using to-do is, if you go back to INSZoom homepage, there is a shortcut to view all the to-dos. So I'm back in my Zoom board, and there's this add remove Zoom board item icon on the right. So I can click on that, and then I have number 13 to do task. So I can just go ahead and attach that to my Zoom board. So when I start my day, I can actually check, hey, what all task I need to complete today, as a to-do. So it's a pretty cool function, guys. You can run reports as well. So this will make sure you don't miss out any of the key things you need to work on. Again, please do not get confused with to-do and steps and reminders. To-dos are not milestones. Okay, milestones are different from to-do. So we have milestones which are case specific, as more like a project A to Z that you need to complete with timelines. That's different. To-dos are anything that's related to the project that you're working that you have to focus towards. So like, for example, a to-do would be reminding the attorney, hey, did you review the forms? We're still waiting for you to review and complete it, so we can move on to the next step. Or you're reminding the foreign national, hey, we're still waiting for those documents. If you don't send those certificates, we can't move forward. So you would just have one step which says, hey, review the document, but to do is more like reminding someone or alerting someone, something related to do, as a step itself. All right, so give it a try, try it with your coworkers and see how it works. It's pretty cool, like I said, easy to track. You might chat. Right now, a lot of chat happens. That's what we are doing as well. Not so cool because there's so many incoming and outgoing of tasks coming through chat. You can't track those chats. You can't track so many emails. So the to-do, if you hook that to-do with a specific client or a case, it will track it inside that client or case. So that's pretty cool, so you can always track what all tasks were done by different individual on this case. Eventually, if you have to do a productivity check as well, it becomes really cool because apart from the milestones that you're checking based on timeline, how each one is completing, you can also check what are the additional things my team had to do to accomplish this case, which is nothing but the to-do itself. All right, so I'm going to stop here, respecting each one's time. I can just go on the whole day. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take a quick break by asking another poll question. This is not something I've covered, but so I'm going to check with you if you guys know about this and then talk a little bit about it. So there you go, guys. Can I track changes made by the foreign national in the questionnaire? So basically, whatever the foreign national update in the questionnaire, can I track the changes they made? So you have a yes or a no. You can either track, that is yes. If you can't track, that's a no. So guys, you got 20 seconds. Okay, another 5 seconds. All right, guys, I'm going to stop this one. It's a good one. Most of you said yes. The answer is yes, you can track changes. Then who said no, your answer is not right or not wrong. Because if you are using a standard edition or a professional edition, you cannot track changes. What I meant to say is that when you send out a questionnaire to a foreign national, and when they complete the questionnaire, it's basically updated in the INSZoom database. That is professional and standard edition. You cannot track changes. But when it comes to enterprise edition, you can switch on track changes when you email out the questionnaire. So when they complete the questionnaire, nothing is saved in the database unless you accept those changes. So that's a pretty cool function. You're reviewing everything to avoid any errors. So you're reviewing, confirming this is what I'm looking for, and you're accepting each update the client has made for the questionnaire. So that is available. So both the answers are right. It's totally depending on the edition type. All right, let's go for one more. This time we'll talk about a little bit about the to-do. Keep on giving you guys another 15 seconds. This should be really easy for you to answer. I do see some of you mentioned that you're having difficult time selecting the answer because it's not working. I'm not quite sure why that's happening. I do apologize, but yeah, but I'm assuming you're going to choose the right answer. So again, let's see what's happening over here. So guys, good response. This means that everyone was attentive. Except for very few minimal, that's fine. So the answer is no, the steps and reminders and tasks are not the same under to do. So you know that tasks are nothing but to do itself. Steps and reminders are milestones, which is different. All right, very good. I'm going to stop that one. Let's look at a few questions. I can see that we have a couple of minutes remaining. So I'm going to choose few questions, but please remember, I would get all these questions and answer to you all through email. All right, so here's one question. If we attach a Zoom questionnaire to merge package and the Zoom later updates, will that automatically update the merged package? The answer is no. The reason is because the moment you merge a questionnaire and you give a name to that questionnaire, it falls into your library and not Zoom library. So even if you choose a Zoom questionnaire and you merge them, and after a couple of months, if we update our questionnaire, your merged questionnaire will be still outdated. So either you have to pick those fields which got updated to update your questionnaire, or start all over if in case USCIS have changed the form like 90% of it. So good question. And the answer is no, you have to do it again. All right, so let's say the next one. I can't get rid of the arrival country question in my intake questionnaire. It always US. Any idea? Uh, I'm not quite sure what this question means, but then if that's a glitch or an issue that you're having, or if you need assistance, just reach out to support. If it's a question that needs to be there because it's mandate to update for the forms, then yes, of course, you won't be able to remove it. But then again, if you're not sure, because I myself not sure with that question, you can reach out to our support for assistance on that one. I'm going to pick a few more questions before we stop for the day. Sorry, guys, it's a little difficult to pick a question from here. Or if I assign a to-do for a case manager and the tasks within a case, will everyone be able to see that to-do? For example, for Jason Bond case, assign the task to Arun. Will Jason be able to see the task assigned? Will he be notified that a task will be assigned? Will we have this issue at our firm? I assigned the task to a case manager. Case manager and the foreign national client receives an email, and both were able to see the to-do. Well, the to-do is assigned to a case manager, then it should see it. I mean, the task is for the case manager to complete and not for the client. So if you had that problem, just let us know, So I have your name, the person who asked this question. So I'll reach out to you directly and just look into that. Because yes, it shouldn't be the case. If the task is assigned to me, Jason should not get an alert because he has nothing to do with it. So that's a good question. Again, keep in mind who you assign the task, they're the one who needs to get the alert. Okay, I guess that's it, guys. I'm going to stop over here. So thank you so much for joining today's webinar. We're going to do this once every month, just training. So sorry, I don't do slides and presentation, but then purely training and then a little bit of talking. So, look forward to the next one. We'll pick a few topics again, but towards the end of once we exit from this webinar, I think there's a survey there. I think we're asking you a question related to what topics you want to learn for the next webinar. So you can list out a few topics, and we'll just choose the easiest one because I like to do the easiest one. I'm just kidding. So we will choose whatever is necessary based on the requirement. So thank you everyone for your time. Again, take care, stay safe, and let me know if you need any assistance. You can reach out to me either to my direct email if you know that. If you don't, just email csm@INSZoom.com. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.